Good afternoon, all you fabulous people. I just wanted to review the heavy hitters market since I had a minute. Probably won't do a video tomorrow, but we'll have this. But I wanted to start off with the Marvels, Marvel heroes from this set. These are all really good looking in person. I pulled a few. I actually got lucky yet on Friday when I pulled my grail of the whole set, Marvel Adult Kasai here. Um, I think she is kind of the one that has sales at 350 and it doesn't seem to be dropping anywhere. Um, she for sure is the most sought after. I pulled a Victor as well, and nobody wanted to trade Victor for Kasai. And also, he's had no sold. His price is about the same, but has had no sold on TCG Player. Um, KO, I think, is probably a fair price. It all depends on where he settles in the middle, but it sounds like a lot of the big names in the game. I think he's really strong. I think he's also pretty strong. I played him for my pre-release. He seemed very easy to build in that as well. Betsy, I think, is the lowest adult hero. I think she's pretty strong in the meta too. Wagering seems super fun. I'm definitely going to build a blitz deck of her at least. Kasai Young also commanding the highest market for the young. I think this is just kind of Kasai tax, similar to Prism tax. It seems like a lot of people are wanting Kasai. Um, I think Betsy and Olympia. I'd keep an eye out on these. I think these are going to continue to drop. They, especially the young ones, they they're a lot listed on Facebook and TCG Player and stuff like that. That don't seem to really be selling. See, Olympia's got no sales. Betsy's had a couple, it looks like, and then nobody wants the adult Olympia. I'm looking. I'll probably pick these up. The young marbles, I'd be looking for like $650 to $70 range, depending on where they stand in the meta. And the adults, I'd be looking at 100 to 200, depending on where they stand in the meta down the road. But I've got my marbles that I'm looking for at this moment. Anything extra is just great. Um, so there's my little bit on those. Then we go to the legendaries. I pulled up the cold foils here, just to kind of give it a quick glance over. Balance and Justice is about $80 for a rainbow foil. If we want to compare that to like Crown of Providence, that seems like not a bad, but I don't think it's quite as strong as Crown of Providence, and is more of a sideboard piece against certain matchups. I think the both foilings of this is gorgeous. The cold foil, I think, is going to be the sought after cold foil legendary in this set for a long time, kind of like Crown of Providence as well. Um, it, I just think it's a pretty good card. What's shocking here is Apex Bonebreaker. This card during pre-release and pre-order pricing was the cheapest legendary on Star City Games, MinMax, and Fluke Box, I believe. And they were all like $30 to $60 for the rainbow foil, and I believe $80 for the cold foil. And not very many were bought that I could see, or the stock just kept getting replenished before I could see it was sold out. This for the cold foil, I think, is a bit high. Um, I I I think this is more around the KO hype. Um, just that generation of that. 200, I would not be willing to pay 200 for a cold foil Apex Bonebreaker at this point. I don't think it's that much stronger than some of these other legendaries. Uh, it's a good card, don't get me wrong, but and I think it also competes with your Gambler's Glove slot in a lot of depends on your style, but I think Gambler's Gloves is still a strong consideration. Grains of Bloodspill, I think I'm a Warrior main, so this may be a little biased. Uh, Grains of Bloodspill, I think, is one of the strongest L's in this set. It can be used. it says weapon as opposed to sword, so you can use it in pretty much any warrior, and get weapon swings with and if they hit, get vigor tokens, which vigor tokens resource for your next turn is pretty darn good, especially if you just have a floating resource how your turn ends. Um, it also can kind of make you snowball a little bit if you're doing dual swords, um, and you have two floating resources. All of a sudden, you have two floating resources for next turn for a big turn. The cold foil at 120, I think, is a fair price for pre-release. I expect it to come probably down to 80 in a few weeks or so. Um, maybe it slows down, but this card I think is one of the best legendaries in my opinion. But like I said, I may be biased. Gauntlets of Ironwill. I think this is pretty comparable to Crater Fist, but Crater Fist's ability is really hard to use, and this ability is very easy to use, as well as it helps you prevent an additional damage, right? Uh, yeah, so when the attack on that chain link is the kicker there, gains that much -1. So I think this is a very niche arm piece. It's only slightly better than Crater Fist because his ability is easier to use. Um, I do think it's a gorgeous cold foil. I pulled one and I actually I traded one away and then I have one in the mail again. Uh, but I think this one comes down quite a bit. I'd pick this up at $30 for the rainbow foil, or like $70 for the cold foil, or maybe 60. Aura Magus, this is going to be the cheapest legendary in the set, pretty much guaranteed, hands down. It's a Victor specialization, so that's why. So it only applies to one hero. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a cool legendary, but since it's only to Victor, it's going to be pretty cheap. This counts as a gold. It does have some pretty fun interactions, like you can cash in it, or you can trade it in to win a clash off your hero ability, that kind of stuff. It has some fun interactions. I do enjoy the card. It's also gorgeous in cold foil. I'd be a buyer for this one probably at 40 for the cold foil, or $20 or under for the rainbow foil. It's been dropping a lot. Not much has. This just comes down. Do you want to play Victor? Yes, get the shield. Which I don't. I think Victor's really strong. I just don't have any interest in him. All right, and on to the Majestics. Blade Flurry for the weekend has taken off. This card was under $10 when orders started on Friday, and has now gone to $27 for the non-foil, and for a rainbow foil is $53. I think you wait for this card to cool off unless you absolutely need it for an event. I think it's about a $20 card. I don't think it's a $30 card. I don't think it's a $40 card. Unless you absolutely need this, I'd wait for it to cool off. Or sell them into the hype. I think this is just warrior hype off of Kasai and in general. But I think we also need to wait to see who wins events. I think there's a Battle Hardened today in Hartford and stuff like that. So I think this is a keep an eye on, but I would wait on it. I think this price is pretty high. Standing Order. A lot of people have said this is the Majestic for the set. I think this is a very good limited card, as well as a very good CC card. It's kind of a niche thing. It does help you block like CNCs or that kind of stuff where it has the arsenal interaction. It also helps you get out a dead card from your arsenal if it's just stuck there for extra block or extra attack. It's a 0 for 4 red, so that's a pretty good stat line too, and it blocks 3. I think this is a solid generic and is a strong consideration for a popper as well. I'd keep an eye on this one. A lot of people were saying this was the warmongers of this set, and I think $12 for a non-foil is a pretty good buy if you need them for your deck. The rainbow foil is already up to 45, and there's only 2 on the market. I would hold off on the rainbow foils, but this card seems pretty good for especially for Majestic for for release pricing at $12.50. I think that's a pretty good price. Oh, gotta go back. Sin Packing, I think is the best Brute Majestic. Cast Bones is over there looming at me. Sin Packing, I think, is the best Brute Majestic on first glance. $13, $14 for a non-foil seems a bit high for me. I mean, put it in perspective, generic standing order was $13, so I think I struggled a little bit to buy this, but if you're a Brute main and you're just going to use it, I think you go ahead and grab these. I think they're going to be used in pretty much every Brute deck. It's a 6 block 3, and it does Arsenal Destruction. Probably a staple in all Brutes moving forward. Commanding Performance, similarly, Arsenal Destruction for Warrior, and it does if they defend with an attack action. So I think this is a great sideboard option against some people like Bravo or ninjas or that kind of stuff where they're attack action heavy. I think this will be pretty much a staple, and it's just warrior attack, so it doesn't have to be weapons. So you can do runner, you could do weapon attacks, yada yada. I think this is a good card. At $12, I think it's a bit steep. I think it's a sideboard option. I'd be at like 5 to 10. I think it's just a touch too much. Cast Bones, I think, also is a Brute staple. I think this is an auto-include in KO for sure. This is a great card. And it's really deck defining as opposed to Sin Packing, just kind of auto-include. Luminaris, $5 for the regular Majestic, I think is a great price. I would pick this up. It's a good weapon. It's only being used in CC though, because old Luminaris is still in Blitz. But the cold foil is what's crazy to me. Oh, okay, it's calmed down a little bit. Yesterday it was like $160. This is $75 for the cold foil. I think this is a weight on. I think this comes way down. I think this is probably $30 to $50 once it all settles. I would wait on this. This is Prism tax all over this. Shift the Tide of Battle, I think, is the second best warrior Majestic behind Blade Fury in this set. I think it's just great. It gives Go Again and an agility token if it has more attack than its base. So that's great on sabers. That's great on any kind of buffed attack. And it's also just a warrior attack. It doesn't have to be a weapon either. I think this is a pretty well staple for giving things Go Again, as well as giving your first attack next turn Go Again. $9. I don't know what to say on that one. Is that a good price or not? What other kind of steals? I think Runner at $3 is. I think LSS thinks this card is a pretty solid card. Considering they're the calling promos, EA Rainbow Foil. A lot of those cards do see a lot of play. $3 for this card seems pretty good. I think it's also a deck-defining thing. You can put it in Brute and Warrior. I think it just revolves around an agility token build to give your stuff Go Again for your next turn. It also could be cool in like an Art of War build to give it Go Again. That kind of stuff. I think this card's really cool and interactive. Is a 6 for 3, so it's also a popper. Show No Mercy. I think this card, unfortunately, is probably going to go down unless Reinhardt just sees a ton of play or puts himself out as the deck. Don't get me wrong, I think this card's strong. I think this card made me want to play Reinhardt more than any card I've seen in the past. This card is just absolutely disgusting in Blitz turn 1 or turn 0. Where you intimidate twice and then you say, okay, here you go, take 9 damage or take 6 damage or take 9 damage. Uh, this card's great. I really liked it. The foils at $6. I think I paid $4 from Star Stated Games for the foils. I think this is about where it's going to be. It may come down a little bit, probably to $2 would be my guess for the non-foil, and probably $4 for the rainbow foil in the future. Pay up. I don't think this card sees any play. No Fear. I think this card is undervalued at the moment. I think this card, especially in KO, if he becomes the meta, he just plays this every time. Because when you between this and Cast Bones, I think are your two instant or no block or non-attack action cards, and then it just allows you to just set up huge turns with Cast Bones. Or this also helps you block out stuff for free. It's also an instant. It basically you just discard your card or banish them for the turn, and then you get them back, which is pretty great. So this turns your no blocks into blocks. I think this card's great. Really helps some of the no block cards in Brute, especially in CC. And Blitz, this may not see play. What else we got here? I think up the ante at $2 is probably pretty good. I don't think anybody's wanting to play Olympia currently, so I think this card, keep an eye out on it if Olympia becomes good. Rainbow foil for 10. You know, the interesting thing on these rainbow foils is they foiled the resource costs in the strip, it looks like. So I don't know if that's just for some of them or all of them, but it seems like a pretty cool little misprint or Easter egg or whatever you want to call it. I think that's about all I want to say on the Majestics and Heavy Hitters market here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.